There we go. Now this is running at full speed, maximum efficiency, getting our growth potions out. Perfect. Welcome back to Alchemy Factory, everybody. Where we last left off, we got our Mars production up and running, and we've got them for sale in the store now, along with our Saturn and Jupiter. And, well, it's generating us a lot of money. But I think the biggest thing it's allowing us to do is get lots and lots of XP off of this. Oh wait, this is Saturn. I'm no longer using Saturn for research. I am using Mars for research only now. And we have gotten, since this has been up and running, we've gotten 8 more upgrade points. I've been kind of saving them up for this so that I could double our logistics efficiency and factory efficiency at the same time. So we're currently producing, we're at double speed for both of these, of the base speed. Base speed is 60, we're at 120. So if we go, we spend 4 upgrade points into each one of these. Now we're triple. Now everything is running at triple speed of the, or triple of the base speed. So if we go into, tab and look at our world stats, we can now see we are producing 108, or we have 180 minute belt speed and 300 minute device production speed. So we're essentially triple the base speed now. And that's mostly due to Mars. I was getting a little bit off of the Saturn as well, but we're at the point now that we are just selling all the Saturn and Jupiter and mostly using Mars for research. In fact, let me grab that one and toss it in there. And I think now I'm going to focus on fertilizer efficiency and relic knowledge so we can get more XP for every relic. And then we're really going to start pushing down this tech tree even more. But today, I got a new build. I think we're going to be replacing our advanced fertilizer build. In fact, I probably want to just turn off the purchasing portals for this and let it die down. We're going to pick that up. Let's see, that's purchasing the rotten logs. We're going to pick this one up for the limestone. And yep, that's going to be what we need. Actually, we could just go ahead and pick up the purchasing portals because this build is going away today. Today, we are making a new fertilizer, which is blast potions. So let's go into our research. And it's a fairly straightforward build. This is not that hard. So we should be able to knock it out fairly easily. Here is our growth potions. Now, we've had this quest up here on the screen to turn in 100 of these for quite some time. But, you know, it takes a while to get through all the various elements of the tech tree and get down to it. So, growth potion says it is crafted in an advanced fertilizer, or excuse me, an advanced blender, and it is a fertilizer. Now, its nutrient value is 7,776 versus our, where is advanced fertilizer? Here's advanced fertilizer, 864. So it's like an 8 times increase in efficiency, or how much fertilizer it produces. So it's going to be huge, really, really big. This is going to be pretty much game-changing. So let's go ahead and research our advanced blender, and then with that, we're going to research our growth potions. Now, we need to think about space for this, and it's going to be it's going to take up a little bit of space, but I don't think it's going to take up that much. We could probably squeeze it in right here, and then give it time for this to run out of fertilizer, and then delete this and scoot it into this space. It is going to be bigger than this, but it's not going to be much bigger. So there is our new advanced blender research. Let's go ahead and start researching our growth potions. What do I need for this? Oh, I'm probably out of money. Let me grab 12 silver coins. All right, research is finished. We're going to go, essentially, we're going to set up for 3 advanced blenders. All right, we want to set this to growth potions. It's the only recipe we can make in these so far. But this is the end goal. This is not where it's going to find the final machine is going to be. I'm just setting this up for visual purposes to give myself an idea of the inputs and outputs that we need. So what we need is chamomile powder, clay powder, and brine. Okay, 2 of these are new. Well, essentially all of these are new. We've not made any of them. Clay powder is going to be... I think they're all going to be fairly straightforward, though. In fact, I've got blueprints for a couple of them already that we're going to need. So clay... So clay powder is made from clay at a grinder. Pretty simple, right? Chamomile powder, made at a grinder. That is a new flour we're going to be making. And then brine is going to be crafted at an extractor. So let's put down an extractor, a nursery, and, well, I'll just put down the build for the clay because I've already got it ready. All right, got down a few things here to give us a basic idea of what we're going to be doing. So we need an extractor to make brine. We need a nursery to make the new chamomile. And then clay is fairly straightforward. This is our new clay build. I used it in this recipe right here to make bricks. This is the basic blueprint for it. All right, so this one makes at base speed 15 a minute. And essentially all we need to do is grind that into powder. And we really only need one grinder. The grinder will take 15 clay a minute and grind out 15 clay powder. So each one of these is going to need 60 a minute. So we need 2 of these to feed each blender. So let me just get an idea of what we're going to go for here. Again, this is not going to be the final build or layout. All of these were designed to snap together. Okay, so the basic idea is we feed this with limestone in the back. All right, it's going to come down, go through these grinders at the bottom to give us sand. That's going to produce stone. It's going to go down through, I've got 6 grinders at the bottom here, which will produce our sand. That sand is going to come up into, or actually it's going to come out to right here to the assembler. And then also we've got logs, table saws right here. We're going to have logs coming in right here on this line to feed the table saws. That's going to take our wood planks out. They're going to come up to the top. They're going to hit 2 crucibles. They're going to flow back around through this enhanced grinder, which is going to grind the planks are going to come up, turn into charcoal. That's going to turn it into charcoal powder. The charcoal powder is going to come down with the sand, hit this assembler, and we're going to get clay out of it, right? And we're going to want a grinder for that one. Now, let me think about the numbers. Each one of these does 15, so that's 30. So we need 2 of these for each blender, so that means we're just going to double this recipe up. And we're going to move all this into place once we get it. I'm going to plan ahead a lot more today than I did in the last episode, so we don't have so much mess. Let me grab some more materials, and we're going to place down essentially 6 of these in total. All right, that's our 6 machines making all of our clay powder. If each one is making 15, we need 2 of each to go into each. We're not going to do belts yet, but we're going to take 2 of these outputs. I just want to give myself an idea of what we're doing here. 2 outputs to feed 1 blender. We're just giving this a visual so I remember what all we need our inputs and outputs to be. All right, so that's going to be for all 3 of these blenders. Now, for chamomile, we need 1 nursery for each blender. And that's at base speed. Again, if you guys are new to the channel, as long as you have your logistics efficiency at the same level as your factory efficiency, so if, say, you have 2 levels in each, this recipe works. If you have 6 levels in each, these numbers all work. This recipe will be balanced as long as your inputs are balanced, as long as your upgrades are balanced, right? So we're going to need 3 nurseries making our chamomile, 1 for each assembler, or blender, excuse me. So I'm going to need to go buy some seeds. And then the numbers for the extractors are the only thing that's a little bit funny. So we're going to set this down and figure out the math on it. Give me just a second to go buy some seeds and some rock salt to get all this started. Oh boy, these seeds are expensive. 6 silver a piece. Crap. I need some more money. Okay, got my chamomile seeds in the nursery. And what we're essentially going to do, we're going to kickstart this with some of the advanced fertilizer, but we're going to feed the blast potions back into itself because blast potions is a fertilizer. And if you use blast potions for this recipe, like the end product will feed back into, this is just, again, demonstration here. This will feed back into our nurseries. And if you feed it blast potions, this number works. If you do not feed it blast potions, you will need many more nurseries. I don't know the math if you're using advanced fertilizer. But essentially, we're going to feed the blast potions back into this to fuel it, to help get these maximized on output. Because I think the number is something like 6 point something. If you use here, I guess I could just grab one and toss it in and see the number. I guess we're going to have to divide by... Yeah, it's 6 a minute. I think that's right. No, it's 12 a minute. Excuse me, 12 a minute. So it produces 12 a minute if you run it off advanced fertilizer. If you run it off of, at the base speed. If you run it off of blast potions, it is essentially like 30 a minute, which is exactly what we need. Okay, we are going to grind that. Each one of these is going to have, I think... I'll double check the math on this, but I think it's 3 grinders for each nursery. And then the extractors is going to be the funny math. The math doesn't quite math out on these because they produce, at base speed, they produce 300 brine a minute. And essentially for brine, we're just going to use our salt blueprint, which we used right here in this build for our Saturn. This produces 30 a minute salt at base speed. So if we place this down, get an idea of what we're going to be dealing with here. I'm going to give it a little bit of space. This one does need fuel. No, this one does not need fuel. That line does need fuel. So I'll need to set up a fuel source on this end. So I'll have to remember to not block it. But essentially, this one is going to be grinding rock salt. It produces sand and salt. So we're going to filter out the sand into trash because I don't have a use for it on this floor. I mean, I do, but everything up here is already producing its own sand. I guess technically, if you really didn't want to waste this sand, you could feed it into this build so that it would use some of the sand coming out of this, but it wouldn't be 100% efficient, and I have not worked out the math on how much sand this produces, so to how much this would... I would almost certainly assume that this does not produce enough sand to feed the number of assemblers you need to produce all the clay. So we are going to have, what's the math on this? I think these do 30 a minute, so that's 10, 10, 10. So that's 30 a minute. And these produce 300 a minute. One of these can feed 2 extractors. So we need 2 extractors for each rock salt machine. Okay, they produce 300 a minute brine. We're going to run all that brine into these blenders, 300 a minute. But the funny math about this is it needs 800 a minute. So 300 does not divide into 800. Yeah, okay, this should be the numbers right here that we need. All right, so each one of these produces 300, so that's 600. And we need to hit a number divisible by 8. Is our maximum output so that everything is balanced. Let me finish up day 148 here. We probably made some decent money, but we spent a ton as well. Oh yeah, we made a lot of money selling those relics. Man, those things sell for a lot of money. We did spend a lot, but we made 700 silver, give or take a little bit, 650, 700. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. We're certainly cranking out the money now. And so my coin belt is staying pretty much full all the time now. So that's a good sign. We are finally there. So yeah, back to this. Got distracted there. So we need these need 800 apiece at base speed. So 8 times 3 is 2400 is what we need to produce total. 24 divided by 3 means we need 8 extractors. So we need 1 can feed 2 extractors. One of these salt machines can feed 2 extractors. So it should be fairly simple. We just set all this up. Let me just double check my math on that. Yep, that's 30, 60, 90. So yeah, our 10, 20, 30. 30 into these is 15. So yes, it will feed 2. So now all I gotta do is set up 1, 2, 3, 4 of these salt machines. It's gonna cost me a fortune buying all that rock salt. And now we can delete these over here so we have an idea of what all we need. Now it's just piecing it all together. So let me see how... We are going to have plenty of space right here. The only thing is, it's going to kind of block my stairs if I put them all right here. So let's not do that. This is not a very... This build doesn't stick out very far from the wall. If we scoot it back to the wall over here, it looks like these essentially take up one floor tile, and these are even smaller. So we should be able to fit it all in right here, and then replace this fertilizer setup entirely. I should probably grab a stack of fertilizer so I can kickstart it, and then once it's up and running, it will feed back the blast potions to keep it, to sustain itself. So let's set all this down. Let me copy paste all this. We'll move it over here. I just need to consider my layout, and I do need to set up fuel for this. So I think this one's going to be on the end, and since I've got my belts all running this way, I'll probably put this, start with this right here, and then set up our salt next to it, and then we could put these little 3 nurseries anywhere. I wonder if we could squeeze them in and like stack them on top of this somewhere. We'd have to belt it in, but that shouldn't be a problem. We should be able to stack these on top of something. Like if we use, what are these, lab stands? Yeah, we can go over the crucibles with lab stands, and we should be able to stack these on top of a couple of these. Save a little bit of space that way. I think it might look neat. It won't look all that clean, but it'll be compact at least, and I think that's going to be the goal. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with this setup. I took out my advanced fertilizer build. It is gone. This is where all of this is set up. Got it all squeezed in here nice and tight. Got one little space there. Everything else should be fine. Nothing's overlapping. Okay. What do we need? We need to put down some purchasing portals for all of this back here. And I think I'm going to go with 1 purchasing portal for every machine. So a little something like this for the... we need... Let's see this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for limestone. Let me set these up real quick. Limestone... And we can copy that recipe and then paste it. Is that right? Oh, you can't do it with these. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, well, we'll set these up real quick for limestone. I'm not going to connect the belts with the money just yet. I'm going to kind of get everything set up, all my inputs and outputs set up first before we connect the coin belt to all of this. But essentially, we're going to run a belt in for each one of these. And we're going to, I think, because the way I've got this set up, I should be able to... All right, we're going to need a purchasing portal for the rest of these. I'm going to put these a little bit closer because this is for the rock salt, and the rock salt is really expensive. And anytime I can limit how much is on a belt, I will for the really expensive stuff. For the cheap stuff like stone and wood, it doesn't really matter. So... now we can do, let's get a basic little blueprint for the inputs and outputs for this. So we're going to take it from the floor up to this one. Okay, and then we're going to take it, same thing on the bottom. We want it to feed from the floor up to that one. And we got our lab stand. Let's put some blocks in and get this up to the correct height. We want our belt to snap in like that. Lab stand over that. And then build up to there. Feed that one in. And now, if I back that out of the way, I should be able to copy, get the lab stand. Come on, snap that lab stand in. Okay, it's being difficult. Let's just do it like this. There we go. And if I hit F to confirm, I should be able to just paste this in because all of these are the exact same height. They're the same base blueprint, so all of these should snap in very nicely. And yeah, that all looks good. Let's get our purchasing portal back down for this one, and then set these up for our rock salt on these 4 right here. And we're almost done. We'll belt up the all of our outputs. This will be our basic inputs. I did set up a line all the way around the base for fertilizer now. So I have a rail going all the way around the factory for fertilizer. And the fertilizer is going to feed into this one right here. I wonder, actually, can I set up the same thing? Is that the same height? I think it is. I think it is. So let's go copy that, confirm that. I see it snapping in there and there. Yes, that is all the same height, so that works perfectly. Nice, nice. And then this one is going to be our fertilizer. So we want it to feed out at the bottom, snap in from right there. That way our fertilizer can run through the factory and feed back into this chamomile. This is the chamomile, sorry, I should have explained that. This is the chamomile right here, and I just stacked them. Used the same stack as we use. I've used these dozens of times now for our crushers and everything else. So we need to figure our outputs for this. We should have plenty of belt speed to do a little something like that. Let's see, we want an output to come and feed. I'm gonna do it like this. Like that, and then this one right here. And then we'll just lab stand over all this and block it up to get all of our outputs out. Should be fairly straightforward. Take that belt across, lab stand over these, and then block up to the last one. Oops, missed one. Get in there. And this one will feed out and then down to the floor, because I want one output for each blender. Yeah, okay. This is our rock salt into our extractors. This one should be fairly straightforward. I am just going to take a pipe and connect them all. And then I need, let's see, that's 4 into 3. How do we do? Oh, there's an easy way to do this. If we grab it from the center and drag it out of each one, that's going to give us 3 outputs. Like that. Oh, I'm out of iron. I think I've got iron stashed away. Oh, it's, do I have any iron? What's in this bag? Gears. Okay. Let me grab some iron. I think I've got some stashed on this floor, actually. Yeah, I do. I'll just grab like 3 stacks of it. Make sure we don't run out. All right, and that's our pipes. I need one more right here. Like that. All right, and that'll feed our 3 blenders. We'll need to drop them down. I just want to get all the belts and inputs, everything else first. So these are, we have 1 output, 2 outputs, 3 outputs, so 1 for each blender. I think what I'm going to do is just try and visualize all this before we get going. So we basically want 1 output right there for that. Come out 1. There we go. This one can run right next to it, and it's going to go to right here, essentially. And then the third one can come out 1 more, run across. Oh, should hit right about there. So that is going to be... no, we need our other inputs to come in as well. So let's move these. Oops. Can I select that? Why can't I click that? There we go. Let's just cut it and move it out of the way a little bit. So, because we need to get our chamomile in as well. Because, right, this has 2 inputs on a belt and then 1 on a pipe. Probably the easiest way to be run them like this. I just don't want our pipes to be in the way. So we're going to need it to come 1 square over from our... Yep, like that. We'll run it across there. This one we're going to take out to here. And we want it to run... do I have this set up correctly? Yeah, to right here. And then that means this last one will run over to about right here. Let's see how this looks. We want to line it up with our pipes and bring it out. Let's do this one first. So we want like that. Yep, that's going to hit our pipe just right. So we want this one lined up like that. Oh yeah, this is going to be a nice clean build in the end. Like that. I can delete these. And now that's an input. That's an input. That's an input. And now we need to take that one in, and we're just going to need to jump over these rails right here. So a lift is going to accomplish that. We're going to feed it from there across to there. That means I have to delete that belt, copy this, paste it right there. And then we're going to need the opposite on the other side. We need to make sure... Oh yeah, this is going to work perfect because it's not even going to block our pipes. That one, copy it, paste it there so everything looks the same. Belt that in, lab stand over, and we're almost done, guys. And this is going to look fairly decent, I think. Now we just take our pipes for the last input. We're going to run them out to here and then drop them with T into there. Actually, that kind of looks kind of cool too. Let's do it like that. Run it to here. Hit T to drop it. Oh. Hit T again. Drop it in like that. Yep, that's what we want. Run it across. Hit T. Oh yeah, I like the look of that. I like the look of that. Okay. Are we done? This is our blast potions now need to come out and feed into a belt. I'm actually going to feed it right here in front of this since it needs these to get going. And I've got a little bit of fertilizer on me, I think. Did I put it up in a box? I think I might have put it in a box. Let me check. Yeah, I got a little fertilizer left over from where we picked up that fertilizer build. I'm just going to get rid of it by tossing it into these to get them started, kickstart all these machines, feed in some coins, and get all this turned on to get our blast potions going. One thing I forgot, I needed a purchasing portal and a crusher back here to make our fuel. So we're going to feed coal into this. That's going to make coke powder. I actually should run this belt this way. Nope, that way's fine. We're going to drop it down from the top. That's going to feed itself. Yep. And then we're going to feed it across back here and feed it to the final machine I need. We can actually use this. I don't know if it's enough to fuel other machines, but we can use this all across this factory floor. All right, and we're going to run this all the way back over to this side. And we'll have a fuel line, coke powder line, running throughout the factory as well. I need to snap this in. Fuel needs to go right there. So I will use a couple of blocks to get my belt height up. And we'll just run it in right there. If we need to extend it later, we can. That's good. Actually, nope, that's wrong. That is something else I forgot. That is logs. We're supposed to have logs feeding into this. Oops. Okay, so we actually need it to come up to here. So we'll just put a lifter from here. We'll have our belt coming this way, and then a lifter coming from that up to there. All right, that's our fuel. Now we need to feed logs in right here somehow. And that was a big oopsie. I need to go buy one more sigil stone so I can place a purchasing portal because I'm not going to hand feed logs into that. I've been kind of busy with the build, so I may not have stocked the relics as heavily today. Although I did, looks like I did stock enough. 5 and 5. Oh, and 1 Mars. Okay, so yeah, we made plenty of money. We made plenty of money today. It looks like we made about 1,000 silver coins. Wow, almost 1,000 silver coins. Whew. like maybe 900. That's huge. That's huge. Go up one more floor, and we're just going to put down a purchasing portal right here since I goofed. I don't feel like moving the entire build for this one purchasing portal. So what I am going to do is have it go... We need to get it coins and have it feed that direction. Yep, like that. Got just enough space to snake this back here. I just need to make sure it does not snap into any other belts. So we need to be careful with how we place this. And then we just lift it from here. Into that belt. Just like that. Alright, that's going to work. So now I just need to start feeding all this money, and everything should be up and running. Snap in all my coin belts everywhere, and everything... Let's see, let's start with the fuel, and then this is the thing that's going to make me poor again, buying rock salt. One last thing, it's almost up and running, as just waiting on the fuel to get around to here. It looks like it is just starting to come in, so the clay should start coming out very soon. This is almost ready. I need to feed my outputs of my potions. How many is that a minute? 10, 20, 30 a minute. That's definitely going to fit on one belt. And I left just enough room to slide this in right here. And we're going to... We need it to feed... First, I want it to feed this... Well, yeah, no, it'll work just right here. I just need to make sure I get my belt right. We want it to feed from here onto that second rail is our fertilizer. And look at that. Yep, that's snapping in. You can just barely see it blue. So the blast potions will come down this line, go up into that second rail right there, hit this one, feed into there, and then any excess will go around the factory, all the way around and feed. Oh, our Mars relic is currently stopped because it needs fertilizer somewhere. Probably something is out. It's almost certainly going to be fertilizer because we are out of fertilizer on that rail. Yep, it is starting to run out of fertilizer. And so this whole production is at a standstill until we can get our fertilizer line back up and running. But there's our first blast potions coming around. And once they do, this whole thing will be self-sufficient. One blast potion should produce tons of chamomile out of this thing. And we only need like... I think like one a minute, but it'll take a minute for everything to go around and feed through. That is our blast potions. Let me give it a couple of minutes to get everything up to speed. So I made an error in my math, and we're not getting enough clay powder. I was off by exactly half. Big mistake to make, but I'm glad and it took me getting everything up and running, and I'm like, why isn't this running at full speed? Because if you look at these, they run and then they stop. They run and then they stop because they're waiting on clay powder. So I was off by, I'm fairly certain it's exactly half. I was running exactly half of what I need to keep it running. Because this is saying 180, so we're running triple speed, so that would be... 60 a minute, yeah. And we are producing 30 a minute on each line. And what we need is 60 a minute. So yes, I was exactly off by half. So all I really have to do is I put down the exact same machine, and we're going to belt, let's see, these are belting into this line, so that's 60 a minute on each line is what we want. This one is going to jump across and feed that one. Now I just need to feed this line right here with these two machines. So we'll run it like this. And then we'll jump it. We'll just do the same thing as this one. We'll jump it across, put a lab stand there. Tiny little error, but that would have really thrown off our efficiency and all of our numbers. Plus, we need these blast potions to turn in for quests. So I need to put a storage box out here. Let's get one set up, I guess, anywhere right here would be fine. We want it to input into there. Okay, actually, I don't need that big of a storage box, do I? Yeah, because that's going to snatch them all off. One little storage box ought to be fine. Like that. Yep, and we'll start storing our growth potions. I keep calling them blast potions, don't I? They are growth potions, Jimmy. All right, so now I need some sigils to set all this up, and I'm going to need to fuel it. Fuel shouldn't be a problem. What I'm going to do is just take the fuel rail and extend it, and set up some sigil portals and turn all this on to get it up to full speed this time. There we go. Now this is running at full speed, maximum efficiency, getting our growth potions out. Perfect. Now we just need to collect a bunch of these to turn in for quests. I need to grab a little bit of salt. I think I'm producing it. Is this salt? Yeah, this is salt. Lots of salt right here. I'll just steal them off of this line. I only need a few more. I usually try and keep a few things in storage or inventory, in my inventory to for times just like this. Excuse me. Brain isn't braining. All right, so let's turn in this quest here. This is a bulk order. 255 silver. Awesome. Let's see, we also have a random quest. I could do that, but that's not the main thing. The main quest is what we're looking for. Let's turn in 100 growth potions. We can finally get that off our screen. We will get 200 silver. Oh, that's it. That's kind of disappointing, but we do increase our level, and we have now unlocked quartz ore and lavender seeds. Awesome, awesome. That's going to wrap up this episode, guys. We got our blast potion line set up. I wonder, do we need to sell these also? Ooh, we do. Okay, so we're going to need to readjust the shop a little bit too. But that'll be for a future episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing so you don't miss a future episode. Hit the thumbs up button if you like this video, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.